Hello.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Nadira from 6 Senior Public High School. And my question is, each and every one of you up there...
Can you put the mic closer to you, please? Thank you.
Can we get a little bit more level there as well?
Perfect. Each and every one of you up there has personal, direct connection, reasons that make you really care about the environment. Now, not everyone has that connection with you, Hayden. You've always wanted to be a zookeeper because you grew animals since you were a kid. And not everyone has that personal experience. So my question is, how can you grow that same level of concern to everyone up there that doesn't have personal experience towards the environmental area? Thank you, that's my question.
It's a fantastic question, thank you very much. I will say you'll never be able to inspire everyone possibly with the passion that I have, and we're all individuals and we might have passion for certain things in our lives that might be displayed at certain times. Mine just happens to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week about wildlife and the environment because that's the sort of personality I am. But if you haven't had the experience through your life, don't look at that as a negative. Look at that as something that you want to move forward with and expose yourself more to. So if you're at this point in your life at the moment where you're not sure what direction you're going to go because you're not really passionate about that direction or that direction, you're still sort of searching, just let it be, but expose yourself to as much as you possibly can. And one day, I guarantee you, it will click. Everything, I like to sort of compare it sometimes does everyone remember what a Rubik's Cube looks like? That game that you used to have to put the colours all on the right side. Sometimes in your life it feels like the colours are all mixed up, but eventually they'll all come onto the right side. And that moment will come, you can't plan that, but doing things like you're doing and being here right now is like one of those stepping stones to getting to that point. So I really do say, just keep exposing yourself to wonderful, inspirational people, and that will hopefully direct you further. Next question. This gentleman.
Yeah, I'm Willie from Bunda Hati Kudus Senior High School. Like we know, our city, Jakarta, has a very heavy pollution problem, like an air pollution, water pollution. Now I want to talk about public transport. Indonesia has a lot of public transport like Metro Mini, Kopaja, Kopami, and etc. And most of them are old, but they are still operated. They are also dirty, uncomfortable, and unsafe, of course. Now my question is, can you suggest me what is the good, suitable, and clean public transportation for this city, Jakarta? Thank you.
That's a good one actually for Helen, I'm sure. It's what is a good, suitable public transport for a city like Jakarta?
Well, first point to make is that it's not only Jakarta in a developing country which has congestion. Believe me, my home city of Auckland in New Zealand has congestion. And one of the reasons there is that for too long we have had, frankly, too many people using their motor cars to get to work at peak times and get home from work. And we know that the answer in that city, where I live, is much more effective public transport. I'm sure the same is true in Jakarta. Now, I don't know enough about Jakarta specifically to say what form of mass public transport would work for you. But around the world we see a mixture of rail, whether monorail above the air or subways. We see effective bus transport, bus lanes, express bus lanes. We see incentives for people to share cars to go to work, take children for school. We see initiatives for what we call in my own country the walking school bus, where we encourage groups of parents and children to gather together and walk to school rather than take the car. I mean, what this leads me to say, I suppose, is that if we're really interested in making an impression on these issues, don't just lead it to your government leaders and your city leaders. Each of us can take some responsibility as well in the way we move around. Do we use the motor car too much? Would there be alternatives? The same is true, I think, if we're looking at energy use. You know, we're the sort of people who walk out of every house and leave the lights blazing. You know, can we take some responsibility? Look at another big environmental issue, which is the amount of waste that we generate. You know, the old principle with waste is reduce it, reuse it, then recycle it. Don't just send it off to be dumped somewhere. So I think what I'd really like to see a group of very motivated students like yourself thinking about is how could I lead in the way I live my life and the way I advocate, which would make a real difference for the environment.
Fantastic. We have another young student over there. Yes? Hello.
Oh, sorry. No, sorry. Yeah, I was close. 2 meters out. It's not bad.
Okay. Good afternoon, all of you. My name is Dia Puspitasari from Bakti Mulya Paratu Senior High School. And I just really want to tell you about how the government itself has a part for this environment changes. Sometimes they are the one who throw the garbage arbitrarily, and sometimes they are the one who, spend most of their money to buy something that only for them, not for the kids and other people. And sometimes the climate changes also causes some animals to die and to go extinct, like the orangutan. And there's just another case of the caterpillar, as you know. And sometimes they just push over the board from the nature's maximum limit. And I really want to know how to give them a wake-up call, because we're just a bunch of small people here trying to make a living and trying to make a better future. And how can we collaborate with the government without making them think that this is just another school project where we can get an A+ if we get them an answer? That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's 3 people here that have got very, very good views on that. Fritz, I'm going to start with you because you're eyeing me up there for a good comment. And yeah,
No, this is a very good question, a very relevant question. And this morning we talked about that. Whilst a small group of people are well aware of the need to have a more sustainable planet in the future, and we discussed how do we get action, how do we get moving forward instead of just talk, but an actionable plan. And it is clear that all the issues, whether it is infrastructure, whether it is waste, whether it is sustainable agriculture, it is very important that, first of all, in a country, there is a vision. And I think your president has that vision. He shared it with us earlier on, and I feel very confident that that vision exists. Then the next step is that you need to get alignment. You need to get alignment between the business community, alignment with the government officials, alignment with the civil society, the NGOs. And then you need to start moving forward with small, actionable projects. This is, I think, very important, because people get very quickly impatient. But if we can celebrate small success stories, step by step, then I think you can move forward. And now in your case, you're saying, well, we're just students, but I think you are from a generation that I didn't have, and that is that you have this whole new social media network at your individual disposal. You can share your feels, your thoughts with thousands, with millions of people. And we know what kind of influence social media can have today on decision makers. So don't be afraid that you're just students. You are living in a new era where you will be heard, I'm convinced.
Absolutely. I think to say that you're just students was the moment that I was shaking my head, you know, because you have got so much power as an individual. And as Fritz said, it's the small things that count. And I